Okay, c'est bon. Okay, now, so let's continue what we did yesterday. So yesterday we finished by stating the proposition that the left dual object is unique up to a unique isomorphism preserving the evaluation and co-evaluation morphism in a monoidal category. So we started to prove that, but we did not finish. So let's recall briefly what we already done yesterday. So assume there are two left dual objects. And you take the evaluation and co-evaluation map associated to these two dual. Then you consider the morphism alpha from the one to the other made using E1 and C2, and the morphism beta from this one and this one using C1 and E2. As before. Okay. So this is, as I said, this composition is exactly as for the morphism of evaluation or co-evaluation map, but you mixed E1, you don't, or instead of taking E1, C1, you take E1, C2, or C2, E1, etc. Oh, okay. Where is it? Okay. So you make alpha, and the other combination you make beta. And we want to show that the composition of alpha and beta are identity morphism. And then this will prove that alpha is an isomorphism. And so this will be the first. So this will prove that two left dual objects are isomorphic. And then we will prove that this isomorphism is unique up to preserving evaluation and co-evaluation. So we will first prove that alpha preserve evaluation and co-evaluation, and then we will prove that it is a unique one with such preservation. So, so we consider the following diagram, where this part of the diagram is the composition of beta and alpha. So we want to prove that this part is identity, and for so we just need to prove that this diagram commutes, and we will show that this part is identity, and so this part will be identity. So we decompose this diagram into 4 parts, 1, 2, 3, 4. And so yesterday we saw that the part 1 commute. So we first mentioned a pictorial proof. So the first diagram, so this part commute, pictorially is just the commutation of this part is just this move. So you have one part and the other part, and one part is this pictorially is this diagram, and the other part is this diagram. And so this is just the difference between the two is that you just make this move and this move. And we will see that so this move are allowed in a pictorial for pictorial proof in monoidal category. But let's see a formal proof for that move, which is completely obvious. You just need to write it. But anyway. So formally, So we are talking about, okay. So formally, okay. Formally, so you start from, so you have x1 star. So I add to be really formal and to put all the details I put now. For that, I put all the parentheses and all the unit to be clear. So you go. So you have two ways. So you start from here. So one way is ID of x1 star tensor C2 tensor ID of 1. The other way is ID of x1 star tensor ID of 1 tensor C1. And what you get is x1 star tensor x tensor x2 star for C2 tensor 1. And below, so x1 star tensor 1 tensor x tensor x1 star. And then you come back to x1 star tensor x tensor x2 star. Like that, tensor x tensor x1 star. So let's have a look. It should be, yeah, this part with the good parentheses. So on the top, it's identity. Identity of x1 star tensor identity of x tensor x2 star tensor C1. And the bottom is identity of x1 star tensor C2 tensor identity x tensor x1. Okay. So we want to show that these two compositions are the same, but in fact, maintenant. So why these two compositions are the same? You just need to write it. It's immediate. So these two compositions are equal because so you have identity x1 star. So you just need to write it. Compose identity x2 star compose, not compose, the tensor C1 compose with identity x1 star tensor C2 tensor ID1. So you compose piecewise like that, and what you get is just So identity and identity is identity. This and C2 is C2, and this C1 and identity is C1. So is it identity? One, yeah, okay. So you get identity of x1 star tensor C2 tensor C1 on one hand, and on the other hand, it's almost the same thing. So identity x1 star tensor ID1 tensor C1 composed with identity x1 star tensor C2 tensor ID of x tensor x1 star, which is also the same thing. Identity x1 star tensor C2 tensor C1. So it's immediately the same. So okay. So sub diagram 1 commute. So you see how the pictorial proof is more convenient in this case. In fact, this is trivial. You just need to show or to convince yourself that these moves are allowed, and then it's immediate. Otherwise, if you prefer formally, you just this is a bit more complicated, but it's just it is immediate also. You just need to write, but a bit longer. Anyway, so for 2 and 3, I will. So it's the same. So I will just draw the picture. I will not write the formal. Oof. So what about 2? So 2 and 3. So 2 and 3 are almost the same. So you just need to trust me. So what about 2? What is the picture for 2? So you have something like that, something like that, and something like that. Wait. So here you have E1, C1, and this is X2 star. And the proof is the same. So you can, it's allowed to move like that and this to move like that. So this is equal to like that, and like that. So E1, C1, and same X2 star. This is only that. So, okay. Commute. So commutation, okay. Commutation, okay. What about 3? 3. Okay, so 3 is just like that. So you have this, and this. equal to, so this is E1, E1, E2, and X1 star, and then we make this move and this move. So you get like that, like that, like that. E1, E2, X1 star. So okay. It's okay also. Okay. So now what about 4? So 4. So 4 is the following. So 4. So 4 it will not be a picture. So so 4 I will. So 4 is here. The fourth part. So let's redraw this part here. X1 star, tensor X, tensor X1 star. Identity tensor C2. No, I again I don't put parentheses, and I don't put also the 1, the unit. I just so X2 star, tensor X, tensor X1 star, and go to smaller, ID. Yeah, ID tensor E2 tensor ID. So X1 star, tensor X, tensor X1 star, and here this is just the identity. So what's the point here? Why is it what it's commute? But in fact, you just need to ignore this is exactly the first axiom for X2 star to be a left dual of X. To see that, you just need to ignore that, and that, tac, tac. Because this is the identity in this component. It's the identity everywhere in this component. And this C2 corresponds to that. So this is, so just you can ignore we can ignore this part, just identity here. So the commutation here is exactly, so the first axiom saying that you have a composition which is the identity. So this is exactly the first axiom. The first axiom for X2 star to be a left dual of X. I guess this is the axiom for the axiom for evaluation map. Anyway, so it's okay. ever. Okay, so this one is okay. So every this diagram commute every component commute, so the diagram commute. So by the commutation of 1, 2, 3, 4, the big diagram above commute. So it look like the following. So you have this, it's like that. Tac, tac, tac. Tac, tac. So là. So this is exactly, so it looks like that. So this big one. We know that everything commutes. So in particular, so you have the bottom part and the top part. So bottom part, top part. Maybe I should write not with that. Bottom part, top. Okay. So observe that the top part is exactly the second axiom for x1 star to be left dual of x. So I guess second axiom is for co-evaluation. What I am saying. No. In fact, each axiom are for both evaluation and co-evaluation. Huh? Okay. So let's fix when I am talking about first axiom and second axiom, each axiom are not specific to evaluation and co-evaluation. Each axiom use evaluation and co-evaluation. As I said, here you have co-evaluation and evaluation. So you have the first and the second axiom for so it's for the x2 star to be a left dual. And for the top part, so it's about the second axiom. Here, this top part, it's about the second axiom for x1 star to be a left dual. So let's check directly. You see that this is exactly this axiom I am talking about. So this is identity up to maybe up to so you should put the associativity constraint. So it looks like the following. So it's so because we can assume by Maclaurin coherence theorem that associativity constraint, you can ignore that. So it's the identity. So it's the identity. Then the bottom part is also the identity because the diagram commute. But the bottom part is exactly beta composed with alpha. So beta composed with alpha equal identity. We can prove similarly. So we can prove similarly that alpha composed with beta equal identity. Conclusion. Alpha is an isomorphism. Okay. So now let's show the pictorial proof of that. So you see, in fact, all what I wrote from here, from here. So here I put some intermediate pictorial proof, but you can just provide a global pictorial proof, and so this 1, 2, 3, 4 slide can be summarized pictorially into something very quick. Very short pictorially. Cool. And then we remain to prove that alpha preserve evaluation and coevaluation, and it's the only one. But first, let's show the pictorial proof of the fact that beta composed with alpha is identity. So, pictorial proof of beta alpha equal identity. We will the same for alpha composed beta equal identity. So the pictorial proof is the following. Okay. So beta okay. Beta composed with alpha, pictorially, this is just like that. So okay. So you have like that, like that, like that, like that. So here it's E1, C2, E2, C1. So it's almost a zigzag. It's a zigzag up to you mix E1 and C2. So you have the alpha part. So this is alpha. And this is beta. But what you observe? So this is equal to so the idea is to move, to make this move like that, and this move like that, in order to consider, to be able to consider the zigzag in the middle. Like that, you cannot consider the zigzag equation in the middle. So if you do this move, then what you get is the following. So you do so like that, like that, like that, like that, like that. Okay. So E1, E1, again the same, C2, E2, E1. And now you can you observe that this is the zigzag equation. So zigzag equation. So so this is identity. Equal identity. So what you get? So this is equal. And in fact, so this is equal to like that. And so and like that. Maybe I should put like that. And here you put the identity. E1. So there should be a C somewhere. And this is a C. C1. 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 And again, by zigzag equation, this is identity. Zigzag again. Again. So, so you see the pictorial proof is completely clear. Is very short. The point is that you can do this move and this move so that you can consider the zigzag equation replaced by identity, and again you apply the zigzag equation and you get identity. So beta composed with alpha is identity. And you see, in fact, so all this move and this move, so this is the point of, in some sense, the commutation of every intermediate part. Every intermediate part corresponds to some move like that. Every intermediate part of this diagram, Venn diagram. So you can see that completely pictorially. So wait. So, oh, no. This should be here and here. Yes, the main point. The main point of what is the point? Yeah. Why we need? You can say, why do we need to do that and that to apply the zigzag equation, because we need to be this part to be below this part. And here you cannot have this part below this part. This is on the, this part is above this one. So you need to move here and to move here to get to get this part on the bottom and this part on the top. And then you can apply, because this will be identity from here to here. So you need this to be on the bottom and this to be on the top, like that. You get that like that. This is the main point. This is just that. This is completely stupid. You have so such a move are obviously allowed. This is ridiculous. Everything you can just do some topological deformation like that. This is anyway. So it's good to understand that. It's good to understand the pictorial way to prove the thing. So not every people in the community of monomial category are comfortable with pictorial proof. But at least pictorial proof can be used as intuition. And then if you want to draw, if you want to write the formal proof, you can do much more easily after the intuition. But in fact, the pictorial proof can be made completely well defined and completely. You can prove that the pictorial way to do is correct. But this is not the point of this book, but you should know that. Okay, so so this is good. So okay, so now it remains to prove that alpha preserve have evaluation and co-evaluation, and that it is the only such isomorphism from x1 star to x2 star, or the only one preserving. So what's the meaning of preservation? So so the preservation is the following. So you have x1 star plus x. Here you apply. So you have, so let's write it like that. You have first, you apply here E1, the evaluation map, you get 1. So x2 star tensor x, you apply E2. X tensor x1 star, here C1, x tensor x2 star, C2. So E. So so what is the meaning of preservation is that if you put here alpha tensor identity and here identity tensor alpha, then this commute and this commute. So in other words, commutation of that. In other words, you need to show that E2 composed with alpha tensor identity of X is E1, and identity of X tensor alpha composed with C1 is C2. Okay. So we will prove that pictorially. At least, yeah, we will prove both. Only pictorially. Okay. So pictorial proof. Pictorial proof. Pictorial proof. Okay. So the first one, you compose so we will prove this equality first and then this equality only pictorially. So what about the first? So the first so tac tac equal tac. So you start from x1 star E1 C2 E2. This is E1. So here, so I want to do it like that. You apply the zigzag equation. So this is zigzag. Zigzag equation. Zigzag. Here there is no problem. This is C2 E2. And the other one. Same like that. Equal like that. C1, C2, E1, C2, C2. And you apply the zigzag here. E1, C1, E1. And you get like that. The zigzag again. So this part. So this part is alpha. This part is identity here. And this part alpha. And you have identity. And then you compose with here with E2, here with C1, and you get what you want. Okay. So Okay, we can make the pause now. Pause. Okay. So let's restart. C'est bon le son? Okay. So let's see the pictorial proof. So alpha tensor identity of X. So this is alpha. This is identity of X here. Composed with E2. This is the E2 part. So you draw that, you draw this picture, and then you consider this intermediate part, which is a zigzag. So you can replace it by just identity. And what remains? So again, to be correct, I should put this to here, because this part should be like that, from bottom to top. Ah bon? C'est bon? Bon. Yeah. Okay, so from bottom to top. Here from bottom to top. Okay. Yeah. So maybe I should write that. Like that. I will write some in zigzag. Bottom, top. So that's why you cannot apply the zigzag directly here, because this is not on the bottom. Okay. That's why you need this move. So should be like that. Okay. Okay. Now, what about, so this proves that alpha preserve evaluation and co-evaluation. Now, let's see that it is a unique isomorphism preserving evaluation and co-evaluation. Finally, let us prove the unicity by picture again. if you want as an exercise, you can replace this pictorial proof as a formal proof. It's not an official exercise, but if you are not comfortable with picture, you can try to make this picture formal. But as I already said, this way of proving is correct mathematically. So, okay, by pictures. So let alpha prime be another isomorphism such that, and in fact, we just need to preserve evaluation. It's enough for unicity, such that E2 compose alpha. So this preserve also with alpha prime. E2 compose alpha prime identity of X. So this means alpha prime preserve evaluation map. So we get an equality. So if you I just disconnect. Là, qu'est-ce que tu vois là? Tu vois quoi, quelque chose là? Non? Et maintenant? Okay. So yeah. So we will use that equal to that pictorially, and we will get that alpha equal to alpha prime. So what is a pictorial reformulation of above equalities? So we have this is equal to like that, which is equal to, and here, so let's write so E1 C2 E2. Here you have X, here you have X1 star. Okay, and this is alpha. This is alpha. And again, this is identity, this is E2, etc. So this E1, and how to write alpha prime pictorially? But you just write it as a black box. So you are X1 star, alpha prime, and now you are X2 star. Okay, and then you have the identity here of X, and you apply E2. So this equality is by definition of alpha prime. And this is true for alpha. Now, what you do, you just compose again with C2. So you forget the intermediate. So we compose yeah. Show you. So compose composition with C2. And what you get, so you have, so now we can write alpha as a black box also. So alpha, tac. So E2. Now you compose with C2. So C2, so you put a C2. So you are here, and what you are doing, you want to add a part like that. So this is equal to like that. E1 C2 equal to like that. Alpha prime. C2. And so this is so like that. Like that. So you have zigzag. So this is, in fact, this is directly alpha here, but in the middle. So this proof is a bit redundant. In fact, we don't need to have three. This, in fact, it's enough. It's enough to, this part only is enough. We don't need to write that. This part only is the fact alpha prime preserve evaluation map, and it is enough. In fact, you can know, but anyway, not that. Not that. This only equality is enough for the proof. Okay. So this is zigzag. So what you get, so we compose with composition with C2 here, and then you again put some identity, C2 identity, C2 identity. So I should not write composition with C2, I should just write C2, C2. But it's not exactly, not exactly a composition. And okay, so then you get then, so this is zigzag, then you get alpha, you have the red part equal Well, so this is alpha again. And this is equal to alpha prime. So this is alpha. So you see the pictorial proof is immediate. So you just need to draw this equality. Then you add this part and this part. You apply the zigzag here. And so you get identity, and this is alpha. And okay. So conclusion: alpha prime equal alpha. Okay. And so the proof for right dual is similar. So this is the end of the proof of the proposition. This proposition. So we prove it in details for left, and for right this is similar. We provided a formal proof with a big diagram, big commuting diagram, in which we explain that every intermediate diagram commutes formally and pictorially. And then we show that this big proof can be reformulated pictorially like that, very clearly, very shortly. And then for the preservation, again, we only provided a pictorial proof. And the unicity also, pictorial proof. Okay. Okay. So what next? So now we will see that you can, here you have the dual object, but you can also make dual morphism. So so the proof end of the proof. So this is the end of the proof. So now we can talk about something else. Dual of morphism. So let x, y be two objects of the monoidal category C. And these two objects have a left adjoint. So left dual, left dual x star and y star. Let f from x to y be a morphism. So we define the dual morphism from y star to x star as follows. Dual of morphism as follows. So f star is, so you start from y star, you apply identity of y star and the co-evaluation of x. So you get y star tensor x star. So here there is the one, but we don't draw the one, the unit. Again, then you apply the associativity constraint. Y star x star y star x tensor x star. And then you apply identity of y star tensor f tensor identity of x star. So f is applied here. So you will transform x into y by f. So this go to y star tensor y. Maintenant.
Je me suis déconnectée.
Du coup, l'enregistrement, il s'arrête.
Bon.
Mais l'enregistrement,
Oui.
ça a dû s'arrêter.
Non.
Ça enregistre ou pas?
Non, ça enregistre.
Ça enregistre. OK. So you apply f. So you apply f here for x to y. So x star. And finally, you apply identity. So you apply evaluation on y, identity of x star, and you get to x star. So you have, so this is, you go from there to there, this is f star. Okay. Yeah. So this is a way, a natural way to define a dual morphism. Left dual. Now, similarly, you get the right dual morphism. Similarly, for x star y, the right dual of the morphism so star f, so from star y, so co-evaluation. So now it's for the right dual, so this is co-evaluation prime as the notation we used last time. Star y, star x tensor x tensor star y. You apply the associativity constraint star y, star x star y, and star x tensor x tensor star y, and you apply identity of star x tensor. Now you apply f and identity of star y. So x tensor y tensor star y, and you apply identity of star x, so evaluation prime of y, and you get star x. Yeah, so this is the right dual of the morphism. So now I will write a list of exercises. It remains 20 minutes. So list of exercise. List of 1, 2, 3 exercises. About adjoint of morphism. So exercise 1. Exercise 1. Let C, D. So what this first exercise will be about yeah. This first exercise will prove that if you have a monodal functor, then the monodal functor preserves the left dual. Comme ça. So monoidal functor preserve left dual. Like that. So more precisely, let C, D be monoidal category. Let F, so F, the monoidal functor, so you have J for the monoidal structure, and previously we saw that we have we don't need to assume the existence of this phi map, but we can make it naturally. So you have this data F, G, J, and phi be a monoidal functor. So F from C to D. So let X be an object of C with a left dual X star. Prove that, so we need to prove that F of X star is a left dual of F of X with evaluation and co-evaluation as follows. So evaluation of F of X. So you start from F X star tensor F of X. You apply the monoidal structure F of X star tensor X. You apply the evaluation map inside the functor F. You get F of 1. And you apply the inverse of phi and get 1. And the co-evaluation f of x. So this is similar. You start from 1, you apply 5, you get f of 1. And then you apply the co-evaluation inside the functor f. So f of x tensor x star. Now you apply the inverse of the monoidal structure. And you get 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. F of x, tensor f of x star. So, so in other words, you can take f x star equal f x star. So the monoidal functor preserves the left dual. So this is the exercise to prove that these two map satisfy the axiom for a left dual. Okay. Now, second exercise. This exercise will be about dual and composition of morphism. So exercise 2. Dual morphism and composition. So, okay. So how the composition and the dual of morphism deal? So the spoiler is the following: F composed with G star will be G star composed with S star. So so the exercise is as follows. So let C be a monoidal category. Let UVW be object of C, and so you need to compose, you need two F2 morphism from V to W, G from U to V, so U, bimorphism, so show that if UVW W have left, respectively right duals, then so as I said before, the dual of the morphism F composed with G can be the dual of G star composed with S star, and respectively the right dual of S composed with G. Figé is G like that. And B, if, so again, if U, V have left, respectively, right duals, then, so it's not only morphism, but also also with tensor product and tensor product and tensor product. So if UV have left respectively right duals, so how the tensor product deal with dual? So then U tensor V has a left dual V star composed tensor with U star, respectively, the star V tensor with star U. Okay, so this is the second exercise. And the third exercise will be about adjoint. So the third exercise, we say that the functor of making a tensor on the left or on the right. So so you take the adjoint, you take the dual of that, and this will correspond to the adjoint of the functor. So third exercise. The functor of tensor left tensorization, adjoint and dual. Exercise 3. Left tensor functor, dual and adjoint. Adjoint functor. So exercise is as follows. So let C be a monoidal category and let V be an object in C. So first part. So if V has a left dual V star, show that there are natural adjoint, so adjunction isomorphism. So by adjunction, as we defined adjoint functor before. So this is so which means you have from set U tensor V. So you need to consider the functor of left or right tensor functor. C U V tensor V star. So you have this and this one, this also. So V star tensor U W C U tensor U W tensor V star. So you move V from right and you put on from left to right, and this make a star. Again, here from left to right. So here, this is a multiplication on the right. Here, multiplication on the. Oh, there should be something wrong here, maybe. Something wrong. Let me check. I certainly write something wrong. So V star, yeah. Yeah, okay. V composed with W. So yeah, so here it's tensor product on the right, tensor product on the left, and so you move. This is on this component and this now this component. You move. You make this move. So, 3 minutes. Okay. Okay. And second exercise, second part. So the second part is the same with the right. If V has a right dual, show that. So show that the same thing. You have natural. So C U tensor star V W C U W V C V tensor U W fit to C U star V tensor W. So the hint of the exercise. So for the first, consider isomorphism from F mapping F to F tensor identity of V star composed with identity of V tensor co-evaluation of V with inverse G mapping to identity of W tensor. Ouais, je vais bientôt. V G tensor identity of V. Like that. And the other are similar. So this means so I have no time to write because this is the end, but so this exercise says that the left dual, if the left dual exists, then the functor tensoring on the left by the left dual of V is a left adjoint of the functor of tensoring on the left by V. Okay. Okay. So we should stop here. Okay. So let's stop here.